Hello and welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television. Coming up next, a report on what's new in Maple Grove and a look back at the most recent council meeting. That's next on the Maple Grove City Report. And thank you for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report, joined by City Administrator Al Madsen. Welcome again, Al.
Thank you, Dave.
We are taping this on the day after the election, so that's why we have Al propped up a little bit here so he doesn't topple over in the middle of it after a late night. Let's talk a little election first of all. Tell us about the day around election booths in the city of Maple Grove. How did it go?
Yeah, you know, with the bags under my eyes, you might think I'm going on a trip. Anyway, it was great. Right now, the preliminary estimate is that the percentage turnout of Maple Grove voters was 90%, and that's just marvelous. We normally are in the 85, 87, 88%, but I think we're going to be at 90% this time, and so that compares to the states is estimating between 75 and 78%, and so we've always. Well, I shouldn't say always, but I mean, the number of years I've been with the city, we always seem to have a greater turnout than the state average. And so we're very happy with that. Congratulations to Councilmember Eric Johnson and Councilmember Leanne Sargent. They both were reelected for another 4 years. And so congratulations to them. I want to thank, I can't thank enough really, the election team and the election judges. They put in a tremendous amount of time. I mean, I think people that go to vote, they vote and leave, they really just do not understand what has taken place beforehand to get to that point.
Exactly.
And then what takes place after. And so the election judges were just absolutely outstanding. We had, I would say, roughly 500 election judges. We had 111 students that assisted in the elections this year. I think that's magnificent. I think that's just great. So. And then we have a wonderful election team, and so we're very fortunate. I don't know how they do it. I left this morning left the office this morning at about 1, and some of them were still going. So, you know, maybe if I was 30 years younger, you know, I could keep up that pace. I remember those times, but not any longer. So we really didn't have any major issues at any of the 23 precincts.
Great.
You have a machine that might stall a little bit, but everything went very well, and so we're very, very pleased with that because you never know, the age of technology, something breaks down. We do have spare scanners, but everything went very well, so we're very happy about that. We did not have any disruption at any of the precincts. Excellent. And that also was very pleasing. Well, we certainly will not have any recounts on the legislative or Senate side that represents us. Senator Limmer, Representatives Zeller and Pepin, all three won their races decisively.
Right.
There will be a recount on the school board. We have 2 candidates that came in at 20% each. And so there will be a recount for those 2. That's a school board issue.
Okay.
Probably all we will do is provide the machines to the school district, and the school district will run the recount. Okay. And then the Rockford School District also appears will have a recount. So, but as
the
far
fun
as,
just doesn't end, does
no,
it?
it just doesn't seem. No, you're absolutely right. So. But again, I just cannot say enough about the election judges, the election team that the city has. It's just outstanding. So,
slight change in absentee voting this time around. A little lower number than what you expected. Obviously, from the big number that turned out on the day, a lot of people came that day. Right.
We were surprised. We had about 4,000 absentee voters, which we expected a little higher. The Saturday before the election, it was very quiet. We were quite surprised by that because we thought for sure we would see quite a large inflow of absentee voters. The government center acts as the election headquarters and the headquarters for absentee voting. So we have 23 precincts, and the 24th would be considered the government center. And so we thought for sure we would have quite a large turnout of absentee voters on the Saturday before the election. That didn't happen, so that was surprising. The day of the election, we had 5,651 voters register. And that's very high. That's very, very high. So I was given some numbers that at 7 a.m. on the day of the election, we had 38,808 voters, registered voters, and that day we also had 5,651 new voters. So it was very, very interesting to see the large same-day, voter turnout. So for registering. So it went great, and I think the fact that we have 111 students that participated, I think that's wonderful.
Was this a class project, or how did this occur? Some teacher got the bug and said, let's go, students here?
Well, in a couple ways. In one way, yes, it's part of their social studies.
Okay.
And so some of them do it for a class, some of them do it because they just want to get involved in the elections.
Right.
And so these are going to be future election judges, there's no doubt about that. So, and so it's refreshing when you see the young people get involved in government. So,
very good.
Yeah, so we're happy.
People are interested in more information and to see some of the results. There's a link on the Maple Grove website that takes you to the Secretary of State site, and then you can look at all of the numbers broken down by precinct if you choose to at that point for the city election.
Right.
Other news around town. I know you've been busy with the election. That's consumed your life recently, but there's other things I know.
Well, not necessarily mine. I play a relatively small role in it. I'm the guy that just sits back and is along for the ride, and so there's a lot of others. They do all the heavy lifting. Gagne Homes, which is a big home builder in Maple Grove, they were selected by the Builders Association of Minnesota as the Builder of the Year, and so we're very, very pleased with that. They do a very nice job in Maple Grove. A couple other nice things is that we've been implementing a number of energy efficient programs in the city, and we just received a $5,000 check from Wright Hennepin Electric for some energy efficiency items that we implemented. And then also our new public works facility, we've implemented a wide range of energy saving equipment and programs, and I think that we're going to be seeing some very, very big numbers in energy savings, and I'm talking about six-figure numbers, over the coming years. And so that has worked out very, very well for us. The yard waste, maybe we did talk about the last show, I'm not sure, but we had our 2 millionth customer, and that's very impressive. It started out slow when it was first implemented, but now to be serving over 2 million residents and non-residents, that yard waste proves to be tremendously beneficial to just everybody around us. So the hospital is getting close to wrapping up their 4th floor.
Right.
I was told last week that they right now are delivering 12 babies a day. So
continues on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's just absolutely amazing. The Historical Preservation Society has finally found their home. They have been meeting for many years at the Government Center, and they now have, when we added on to the Public Works facility, the old reception area and the old lunchroom is now the home of the Historical Preservation Society of Maple Grove, and they've got storage in there. That's areas that are climate controlled for the inventory that they have. They've got desks in there, file cabinets, obviously chairs, tables. I mean, they can hold their meetings there now, their monthly meetings there. So that works out very, very well for them. They went to Long Lake this morning. I wasn't able to tag along, but they went to Long Lake this morning to tour the Long Lake Museum, and so they're becoming, I shouldn't say becoming, they've been active, but they're becoming more and more active. And so now that they've landed on their home, in their home, it's great. So
is the goal that will become a site that people can visit? There'll actually be a museum display there as well?
It'll be there and the Government Center. We have on the 1st floor of the Government Center, we've got lots of display cases that are always filled with historical items. And then, yes, there will be areas down there that between the hours of 8 and 4:30, people will be able to go there and then Plus, like I say, they'll be able to have their meetings there, so that's nice.
Sounds like a few school tours probably coming in the near future here to take a look at the history of Maple Grove.
That's a good comment, yeah, absolutely right, yep.
All right.
Maple Grove Transit, so we were very pleased that from 2009 to end of September 2012, the reliability of our bus service was 99%, and so a little over 99%, and that shows that the company that we contract with, for the buses for student, takes very, very good care of their fleet. Mm-hmm. So when you got 99% of your vehicles over a 3-year period of time that are always operating efficiently, that's a high number.
Hard to do that with anything to have to do with transportation to stay that high up.
It sure would, absolutely right. MnDOT is not quite, I think, well, they may be fully moved into their new facility in the 5-Star Industrial Park just off of Hemlock. They have that facility that's on Elm Creek Boulevard, on the north side of Elm Creek Boulevard. Eventually, they'll be fully vacating that.
Okay.
And then eventually, they'll put that land up for sale. But I don't have a time frame for that. So I want to thank Lowe's. They donated a large number of fire alarms to our fire prevention program, and our Deputy Fire Marshal, Marilyn Arnlin, was working with Lowe's and now has been installing fire alarms in the homes of seniors that do not have fire alarms and cannot afford fire alarms. And so smoke detectors is what I'm referencing, not fire alarms. So smoke detectors.
Is that something that there's still more, that if people were interested, they could contact the fire department?
I would suggest they contact the fire department. Okay. I don't know if they've run out of them already or not. I don't know, but it was a nice gesture by Maple Grove Business, and nice work by Maryland to set it up and get the smoke detectors in homes of seniors, and so I'm very happy with that. Indoor Farmers Market kicked off. We have 23 vendors. That will be on a every other week basis, but it's in the community center, and it first one went with 23 vendors. We were very, very pleased with the turnout.
So you did a little shopping yourself, I take it, right?
I didn't make that one.
A few items.
I didn't make that one, but my wife was there.
Oh, okay. You got the report then.
Right. Yeah. She's a volunteer for the farmers market. So, ISO, which is an insurance rating organization. They take a look at fire departments across America, and as far as fire stations, equipment, firefighters, response time, everything, and then they give a rating to cities. Right now, for areas of Maple Grove that are served with hydrants, the non-rural areas of Maple Grove that are served by hydrants, we have an insurance rating of 3. That reflects very nicely on homeowners' policies, very nicely. If you get a higher rating than that, then your premiums will be higher.
Okay.
The area that we are going to be testing is the still somewhat rural area of Maple Grove. ISO wants us to do a water tanker testing, and so what we'll do is we'll borrow water tankers from adjoining cities, because we have a joint powers agreement with all the cities, as well as our own water tankers, and we'll simulate. Tankers will go out and empty their water, go to a hydrant, fill up, come back, repeat the process.
Okay.
And then it'll determine if those areas in the rural area, some of them are probably 8 or 9 rating right now, maybe even a 10, which is really too high. We're hoping that we can get that down to about a 5 or 6. I think we got a good shot at 6, and so residents in the still rural area of Maple Grove should be able to sign the decrease in their homeowners insurance policy.
So is this something that they have to let their insurance company know about, or does this automatically happen as an insurance policy looks at a particular home in Maple Grove?
That's an excellent question. I would recommend they let their insurance agent know.
Sounds like a good answer.
Chances are the insurance company itself probably is not really going to be focused on that. So I always recommend to the residents that if there's any change in your rating, it's at 3 most of the city. If it does become a 6, get a hold of your insurance agent. Let them know that your rating has dropped, and that should be reflected in the premium. So
yes, very good news.
So that was it as far as highlight items. We had a 6:30 council meeting prior to the regular council meeting, where we had a special meeting to talk about the 2013 proposed budget.
Okay.
That will be coming to the first council meeting in December as a public hearing. I think that our residents will be very pleased with the 2013 budget. It is essentially a stable budget. It will reflect somewhere between a $22 and a $25 decrease in Maple Grove's share of the taxes.
Right.
We do not control the school district or the county, but I think they'll be pleased overall with our budget for 2013, as well as the impact it'll have on taxes. So we're very happy about that.
What are a couple of the main reasons that you're able to hold steady or even show a little bit of a decrease on the homeowner's end?
Well, one of the nice things that impacts my department, every 2 years, we have elections.
Yes.
So in an off year, we don't have elections. And so, in 2012, part of my budget is here.
Right.
In 2013, it'll be down here. And so it's always kind of nice. I can always tell the department directors, oh, look at administration. They got over 7% decrease in their budget.
Right.
But some of it has to do with the fact we've eliminated a few positions. We have probably done a better job, I think, of energy efficiency in our vehicles and our buildings. And just overall, I think the directors continued to take a very good, responsible approach to their budget.
Very good.
We were going through the years of high development, really rapid, high growth. And so at that time, you get consultants involved, things like that, so your budget tends to increase a little bit. But once a development tends to stabilize, then I think it gives us a much better control over our budget. So I think residents will be happy with the 2013 budget. And again, that'll be a public hearing.
So if people are interested, they can come to that meeting and hear a little bit more, ask questions,
Absolutely.
Or as always, watch it online through the city's website.
Right. Finance Director Jim Knudsen will give a presentation at the first meeting in December, and then the mayor will open it up for public comments, as it is a public hearing, take input from the public, and then move on. Once the input is done, they'll close the public hearing and then make a decision on the budget as it's presented. So
Okay.
we did set April 9th as the local board of appeal and equalization. That's where individuals, if they're not happy with the value that's been placed on their home by our city assessing department, they can come and express their concerns.
Okay.
And then April 23rd is the reconvene. So between April 9 and April 23rd, staff takes a look at the homes that people come in and say, no, I think my home should be a little lower.
Right.
And so they'll do their homework during that period of time. April 23rd, it comes back to the council, and they either stay with what the assessing department originally had, or raise it, or lower it.
Right.
Home values. It's if you're selling your home, you want your value high. If you're not selling your home, you want it low. So it's
a tough game.
It really is. There's no doubt about that. We had a nice $2,300 donation from the Maple Grove Lions for some equipment in our police department, and we certainly appreciate that. The Lions have been just a tremendous asset for our community and have donated many, many things. We did set a public hearing for Whirly Ball. That's for their liquor license at the next meeting, so we'll consider liquor license for Whirly Ball. They're going into the Old Man Theater,
right,
and that's under renovation now.
And what is it again? I've had people ask me, and I am stumped to explain Whirly Ball.
Whirly Ball is, let me see, it's almost like, oh gosh, bumper cars on steroids or something. It's,
okay, that's a good description.
You're in bumper cars, and it's a team approach, and you want to try to get this foam ball or Nerf ball into the other person's goal, and so it's a program that develops teamwork.
Okay.
So you got team against team,
sure,
and you're in these little bumper cars,
right?
And I refer to it as bumper cars on steroid, and so I've never tried it. I probably will.
We'll try to get some video of you in action.
Yeah, right.
We should
do it. You and I should be out there, right? I've heard that there's two of them in Chicago, and I've heard that they're doing very, very well.
Okay.
They're a lot of fun. So I hope it goes well. Goodwill is under construction right out on vacant lot by the old theater, Man Theater. So I've had questions about Redstone. They are renovating the former Boston Gourmet Pizza site, inside and out, and that's a renovation that's taking longer, I think, than they anticipated. Whole Foods is renovating the former Ultimate Electronics space.
Right.
Originally, they thought about opening in November, but I think now that's going to be pushed off because they're also doing maybe a greater level of renovation than anticipated.
Okay.
So, at the next meeting, I've got a wide range of businesses that have pulled permits and have opened in Maple Grove, and maybe at the next meeting we can just quickly run through those. So we're still pleased. Our building permits continue still to inch up. We did, I think this year we may do 200 single-family permits, which will be down from last year. But then again, I mean, I've always taken the position we're not in a race with anybody. We do what we do what we can do, for our residents and for the city, and we're not in a race. So.
Okay.
Anyway, I think we'll be down though, from last year. But I still, I'm optimistic. I'm starting to see a little light as regards to industrial development. I'm starting to see manufacturing turning around a little bit. The problem is a lot of them were waiting to see about the elections. They're still concerned about the economy. They're very hesitant, very cautious about pulling the plug on expanding or building a new building.
Right.
Even hiring. And so that's kind of all been put on hold. I was told that the 10 largest corporations in America have over $1 trillion in cash, unencumbered cash, $1 trillion, but they're hesitant to...
Just waiting.
Yeah, they're hesitant to use it because they just do not know what's coming down the line. And the industrial development, some people think, well, let's just snap our fingers and bingo, we got industrial development or manufacturing here. That whole thing is like turning around an ocean liner. It takes a long time to get it to turn around. But I'm starting to see a little bit light on industrial. Retail still continues to be, fairly strong. We get a vacant space and we fill it up pretty quick. Office, that's always been kind of a challenge because typically there's such an overbuilding of office.
Right.
That's got to fill up somewhat. But things are looking a little better.
Very good. So. That's what we like to hear. So next time we get together, we can talk a little bit about some of the retail items and maybe give you a final word on road construction for this year. Let's take a look at the next council meeting date in case you are interested. And again, Al mentioned some of the information that will be going on once we get into December. That next meeting is November 19th, 7:30 at the Government Center. Website on the top of the screen and at the bottom the phone number if you're interested in calling and asking any questions. And if you have questions for us, 533-1710, the viewer response line. For Al Madsen, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.